I've taken this out of the clamps, and I've marked 2 marks on the inside of where we cut before, and on the inside here mark the little points where I'm gonna poke through here. Now this leather has gotten drier and is becoming more stiff, so to soften this up, I'm just gonna brush. I just need these 2 layers on the outside to be softer, so I don't accidentally poke through it. So brush some water onto it, right where the bend is. I'm going to make a pilot hole with this skinnier awl. I'm poking from the outside to the inside. So if you have a curved awl, that would work here as well. Okay, so I'm going to poke all the way down here, and then I'm going to enlarge the holes. The holes are spaced about 1/4 inch apart with my other awl, just as I did before. Okay. So I'm going to finish the rest of these holes off camera. So I've poked all the holes here, as you can see. And that made tied a string. So I'm just going to put it using curved needles. This is a little curved area. Down the stitch. So I'm done with all the stitching. I'm going to go back about 4 stitches to lock it. So in this case I overestimated the length of string I needed. That's okay. Better have too much than too little, I guess. So since I have it, I'm probably going to lock down most all the way around. Decided to make a small design change. So I'm going to trim this middle part out so it creates a cavity. And then 2 pieces, fold it over, sew it together using a baseball stitch. Using my knives and gouges, I've carved out the center a bit more. I've beveled this inside edge, so now it's kind of comes to a little point. Now I think the baseball stitch to come in nicely. And with the knife in there, you kind of start to see the final shape. So at this point, I cleaned the edges, decided the shape of here, and cleaned these up, these edges as well. Find out the shape that I like. Next step, I'm going to conform this leather to the shape of the knife. So again, I'm just going to soak this for about 2 hours. Soaking for about a little over an hour. Put the knife in where I would like it to be when it's all finished. So the leather right now is really soft. So now we're just going to shape it. And you can use anything that's smooth will work. This is a tiny little spoon. I'm just going to find the edge where the blade meets. It's the handle, both sides. So veggie leather can hold whatever impression we put into it. I'm just going to let this gradually dry, and periodically I'm going to come back, go through, and position it. I've positioned 3 clamps onto the sheath. These clamps are all have a rubber footing, so it should be okay. And I'm also going to go in where the blade meets the handle. push this down a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is to conform this, really conform it to the shape of the handle. So there. I'm just going to let this dry before I take it out of the clamps. So our knife sheath looks pretty good. Now it's pretty dry. And when it's dry like this, it's actually quite easy to make holes like these. So I'm going to show you how to do that on the bottom here. We'll need some kind of a spacer tool. This happens to be a little wheel with little very dull points on the top of it. And I'm just going to mark it from about where I would like the holes to, or the braiding to start. So 3-4 millimeters from the edge would be approximately the thickness of the pieces that are going to be braided together. So I'm just going to go slowly all the way around. See the little markings. I'm going to punch the holes out with this hole puncher. I'm using the smallest hole punching here. I'm just lining it up. That's just the hole. I've punched all the holes onto the leather sheath. After several wetting process, the leather has become very dry and fragile. So at this point, all the shaping is finished. The only step left now is to finish the braiding and the sewing here, and then it's pretty much done. The belt loop here, I'm not really going to worry about. I may finish the edge here as well. We'll see how it goes. So the next step I'm going to apply is the turkey red or sulfated castor oil. It's made by reacting castor oil with sulfuric acid. I'm just going to use that to get back some of the flexibilities in oil that was lost during the drying process. So I'm just going to brush it on. You should wear a glove when you do this, because sulfated castor oil is very irritating to the skin. I'm not sure if that's a property gained from reaction between castor oil and sulfuric acid, or is a natural property of castor oil, where I don't think I've ever seen castor oil. So just lay it on thick.